Hey guys, this meeting is being live streamed. By staying in this meeting, you consent to being live streamed. Anyone with access to the live stream can watch or share with others. Okay, got it? Share screen. All right. We've got a new cover. Sanchita made our new cover. 잘 보여요?
네, 보여요?
네.
Okay. 안녕하세요, 여러분. 저는 나날라예요. 미국에 살고 있어요. 저는 GLEx2020 공동 창업자예요. 산치타랑 우리 팟캐스트 2020년에 만들었어요. 거의 매주, almost every week, 우리 라이브 스트림 하고 있어요. 오늘 2020년 12월 10일 맞아요? The date is right here on the bottom left hand corner. 왼쪽으로 날짜 있어요?
네.
Season 2 환영합니다. 진짜 one day this introduction will be fluent. Today is not the day. We record every Friday here at 11 p.m. Singapore time, midnight Saturday in Korea, and the meeting ID stays the same, 795-3031-0059. The passcode is Pod Squad. Who wants to say that in Korean? Meeting ID는 meeting ID 번호는 795 3031 0959. 비밀번호는 Pod Squad. PODSQUAD. Okay, Sanchita, go ahead with your introduction.
네, 안녕하세요, 여러분. 저는 인도에서 살고 있는 산치다라고 합니다. 제 나이는 26살입니다. 그리고 제 직업은 건축가인데 요즘은 프리랜서 마케팅 일하고 있습니다. 제가 인도 뭄바이에서 살고 있습니다. 그리고 1년 반 동안 한국어 공부를 시작했어요. 근데 아직 잘 못해요. 그냥 계속 한국어 공부하고 있어요. GLEx 친구들이랑 그리고 선생님이랑 매일 한국어 연습하고 있어요. 그래서 조금만 하루 종일 조금만 연습하고 있어요. 네, 만나서 반갑습니다.
반갑습니다.
네.
네, 저는 로스입니다. 미국에서 살아는 사람입니다. 5년쯤 전에 한국어 공부를 시작했습니다. 하지만 혼자 했습니다. 조금 어려워요. 그리고 지금은 GLEx2020 학교 공부해요. 만나서 반갑습니다. You're muted. It's silent.
죄송해요, 여러분. So this page, 이 페이지는 우리 supporters이에요. Okay, this is a page for our supporters. I'm gonna have to say it in English because my Korean is only up to this point. We've got Patreon supporters, PayPal supporters, and we also have in-kind supporters. That means that people volunteer for us and help us grow as a community, whether they create their own pages on Facebook or they share our activities on other Facebook groups, tell their friends about us, post about us on Instagram. So your contribution doesn't only have to be financial. It can also be in kind, where you help the community grow by being an active participant in the community and letting people know that, hey, this group exists and they are so good at forming study sessions and having a support network of people so that we can study together. And also native speakers from all over the world are volunteering to teach their native language and fulfilling our mission to have free and affordable language learning opportunities to people around the world. So all of that, GLEx2020 is made possible by all of you who donate financially, as well as all of you who help us grow via SNS, social networking sites. These are the sessions we have at GLEx2020. We have peer-led sessions like study groups and reading sessions, as well as language exchange sessions. And then whatever you're studying, I'm sure there's somebody in the group of the 1,500 of us has something in common with you. And then we're also part of our own communities where we manage 14,000 members, 35,000 members. Other members of our group have 100,000 members in their Facebook groups. But the thing we all have in common is that we gravitate towards GLEx2020 community because we're all collaborating together. How do we reach more people and help more people learn languages? And currently, the main language we're studying is Korean. So that's why you see a lot of us in Korean groups. We also have teacher-led sessions. They are curriculum-based and there are also conversation-based. So they're led by native speakers. Currently, we have a collaboration with Korean Chatterbox, and we're doing K-drama with the Korean Chatterbox teachers. So please do check us out at facebook.com/GLEx2020 podcast, and you'll see the post about Korean Chatterbox and GLEx KC K-drama classes. So check that out. We also have other languages like Tagalog, Chinese, Japanese, Italian, and German. So do check those things out also by sending us a message on Facebook, Instagram, or private message me or Sanchita, and we'll help you out with that. Okay. Of course, we have our daily study session every day because that's what daily means. 10 o'clock Korea time hasn't changed for over 400 days. So check out Learn Korean in K-Culture group on Facebook and check out the event section. You can join the study session through that or GLEx2020 podcast. Upcoming events. It's not really upcoming. It's today. Go ahead, Sanchita.
Yeah, sorry, I was cooking. And so today we announced Korean speech contest winners, and Rose, one of our original parts card, won a prize, and I'm really happy for her. So Rose, can you please share your experience with us in the Korean speech contest?
네, 저하고 조금 너무 어려워요. 하지만 재미있었어요. 우리 대회에 썼어요. 한국 문화에 관한 대화 썼어요. 그리고 인터넷으로 일본 like on a video. Sorry, I don't know how to say that. 했어요. 다음에 인터넷으로 줌으로 했어요. 너무 무서웠어요. 하지만 재미있었어요. 네, 네.
축하해요.
감사합니다. 너무 배웠어요.
너무 많이 배웠.
너무 많이, 네, 많이 배웠어요. 정말요. 네, 어려운데, 저는 그걸 했어서 좋고요. 행복해요. I'm glad that I did it.
네,
많이 배웠어요.
Is it 간식 confidence?
혹시 간치 받았어요. 네.
맞아요. confidence는 저는 아니요.
긴장했어요. 하지만 what's confidence again?
자신.
that's self.
자신감
받았어요.
self-confidence. 네.
네.
네. I think that's the one. 자신감 self-confidence. 알겠어요. 죄송해요. I'm thinking. My brain is like buffering right now.
괜찮아요.
로시는
자신감 많이 받았어요.
네, 그리고 로시 fluency는 좋아졌어요. Like your fluency increased.
네. 많이 배웠어요.
지난달에 last month 로시 fluency 뭐예요? fluency
맞아요.
유창성 아니에요.
유참함.
한국어를 유창하게 말해요. You're now speaking fluently in Korean. 이제
가끔
한국어를 유창하게 말해요. 말하고 있어요.
어느 날 잘 말할 거예요.
fluency.
오늘 아직 안 해요. 하지만 어느 날 네. 지금 토의해요. 그거 like I noticed. 지금은 가끔 드라마 보면 subtitle 없이 보면 그거 이해했어요. 그리고 뉴스 broadcast 방송 또는 혹시 유튜브 비디오 보면 그거 이해했어요.
네.
항상 놀라요.
항상 몰라요?
놀라요? I'm surprised.
놀라요. 놀랐어요?
네. 하지만 가끔 그거 들어오면 아무것도 이해해요.
음. 아, 많은 단어를 배웠어요.
네.
네, 축하해요, 로시. 그리고
고마워요.
다른 사람들도 축하해요. Should we write down who won?
네.
잠시만요.
네, 다른 사람 잘 말해요. 진짜요.
네.
정말 한국 말해요.
네, 잘했어요, 여러분. 잠시만요. 저는 그 리스트 찾아요. Or is it 찾아볼 거예요? 인기상 로즈 씨 미국. 장료상 자레드 두아베스 필리핀. 아말 엘 아바시 모로코. 은상 제엘 올라툰지 나이지리아. 금상 Rocky Bautista 필리핀. 대상 세나야 파트라왈라 인도. 축하해요, 여러분.
네, 축하해요.
Yes, these were the winners of the first K-Culture Speaking Contest hosted by KICA, Korean International Culture Association, and us here at GLEx2020, Global Language Exchange, established in 2020. And this was sponsored by Konyang University from Korea. I'll put it in the description of this live stream so that everybody can see
네.
where this, what do you call it? What we're talking about. And then congratulations to the winner. 축하해요, 여러분.
네, 다음 년 다시 해야 해요.
네.
네,
Please,
매년.
next year, make sure you join the speaking contest. Even if you feel like, oh my God, this is not good enough, it doesn't matter. Send it in anyway. Because
해야 해요.
you are going to get out of your comfort zone, right?
음.
And once you get out of your comfort zone, you've placed yourself in another one. And at first you'll be uncomfortable, but then it'll become your new comfort zone. And that means you've just elevated yourself to a new level in your language
네.
learning journey. And then next thing you know, you'll be like Rose, speaking fluently in Korean.
스무스 말하지 않나요?
아니에요. 진짜 잘하시네요. 네. 저도 놀랐어요. 어떻게 로시 잘했어요. Like how you did so well in such a short amount of time. Because
많이 연습했어요.
네.
많이.
Your pronunciation got better, your fluency got better, the words you used increased, and it's just by practicing, by writing. There is no way you will improve if you don't practice.
네.
Absolutely
네, 맞아요.
zero chance
맞아요.
that you will improve if you don't do the work. And even though so what we're trying to do is speak in Korean, but we're learning in English. To some people that might seem counterintuitive, because it was counterintuitive for me when I first started learning Korean. I was like, I'm gonna learn everything in Korean, blah 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 blah. But you know what? We got to start where we're at. This is what I've learned in the past year. We have to start where we are at.
네.
I couldn't get to the next level without bridging the gap between what I knew and what I wanted to know. And I learned that from Sanchita. She took all of the Korean text from Kato's. Hold on, I'm typing and thinking at the same time, and it's not working. She took all of the things that she learned from Kato's, Korean A to Z. It's the group by Daegun Sensei-nim. He is one of the judges from this Korean contest. He represented GLEx because obviously Sanchita and I don't know Korean well, and we needed a Korean speaker, and he volunteered to be a representative for us because he was our first sponsor for GLEx. GLEx wouldn't be around without Paul Kim Sem and Daegun Sem. Like because of the two of them, we got started on such a solid foundation, and we kept on going since then. So Daegun Sem would have everything in Korean, and Sanchita didn't understand Korean at that time, but she sat in every single class and participated in the capacity that she could. So even though her level was low, she strived to be at the level where everybody was at. And then now she's either at the same level as them or even more in 1 year of working. Every week, she never missed a week. Once she found out about Kato's, she never missed a week of participating in their weekly study session. And Daegun Sem would do it 2 times a week on Saturday and Sunday Korea time at 7 a.m. No. On Sundays, right? Sunday, 7 a.m. and 7 p.m.
Wow.
And it was like, wow, dedication, you know?
네.
It was really amazing to witness Sanchita's progress, and this idea of speaking in Korean, learning in English, we're carrying that because oftentimes that middle ground is neglected. And we often see that in books. The beginner ones have so many materials, right? Like you look at YouTube, there's a billion, no, there's like hundreds of YouTubers teaching beginners. And then after
하지만
beginner,
다음에
after beginner, there's a gap. And then intermediate. What do you do with the people in between who can't understand what's happening? Like you're more than a beginner, but you're not yet intermediate.
네. 그리고 우리 아기가 아니에요. 네.
네.
아기 네. 한국 아기 한국어 한국어만 배워요. 미국 아기 영어만으로 배워요. 하지만 우리 아기 아니에요. 그래서 아직 언어 한 개 말해요. 그래서 영어로 배운 걸 괜찮아요. I don't know if that made sense. We know one language already, so it's okay to use that language to learn another one. We don't have to learn how languages work. We already know how they work, okay? So sometimes it's much faster if you can say, just explain it. Oh, it's like this in your language. Oh, okay. Otherwise, if you're only doing it in the target language, I actually have a degree in this. If you're only doing it in the target language, no, and they told us, oh, you need to only teach in the target language. And I'm like, but it's so much faster if you can just tell people it's like this in your language. And then they're like, oh, and then they know it in 1 day, as opposed to taking 4 months to learn it, to figure it out by osmosis. You need
Yes.
many opportunities to speak in the language, but when you're explaining new concepts, it's so much faster just to say, oh, it's like this in your language. And then you got it.
That's why GLEx has been successful, because we come from the class that's full immersion. It's only in Korean. And we're like, what is happening? What is going on? Then we meet with each other and talk about what happened in class.
There.
And
there.
then
Sorry.
the concept clicks.
There.
And it's perfectly okay that there's no teacher during study sessions. It's perfectly okay.
There.
Why? Self-correction makes language acquisition faster. That's my thinking.
When you're
Because-
explaining to each other and teaching each other, then you really internalize it. You know, you're not just sitting in a classroom listening. You have to do something with it.
Yes, exactly. That's how I feel about it. So when I say to the students, you know, make your study sessions, do your study groups. I don't have to be there, you know, you can study together. Because right now I'm teaching at High Local, and we have a GLEx2020 cafe. I say, open your tables at the cafe and study together. It doesn't have to be like teacher teaching all the time. Well, anyway, I'm not that type of teacher anyway. I am more like, okay, practice with me, because I also need practice. Because I'm still also a student. And then if there's something that we encounter that's like, oh, I think this is above my level, let me ask one of the teachers. And then I'm so happy when Koreans come in, because I'm like, oh, hey, by the way, want to explain this to us, you know, and then they explain it in Korean and English if they can speak in English. And a lot of them that come to my sessions just want to hear me speak in English, because it's their listening comprehension time, because I teach Korean in English. And sometimes Koreans wonder about that and are like, you're not even fluent in Korean. How can you teach Korean? Believe me, I've asked myself that too, but somehow the students seem to be doing okay. So they seem to be understanding what I'm explaining, because, you know, each individual studies differently. They might be getting something from what I'm teaching and interpreting it in their own way and adding to it. You know, I'm not always right. They can spot my mistakes. Like if I spell something wrong, or they'll be like, Sim, this thing is spelled wrong. I'm like, kamsahamnida, and then I will just change it. Because I also miss the spelling mistakes, but if they can catch it, then everybody benefits from it. Like nobody's afraid to say, oh, hey, Ranella, you misspelled that. Because I'm the teacher, I'm supposed to know everything. That's not true. I may be the leader, the group leader there, but it doesn't mean that I know everything. So it's nice to have somebody that can bridge the gap between what you don't know and what you want to know. So right now I'm a little bit above beginner level. So I'm helping super beginners get to the beginner level. And then once they're at the beginner level, we go to the same classes together. 안녕하세요, 여러분. Daniel, 여기 있어요. Sanchita, are you there?
Yeah, sorry, I'm here now.
We were just... Oh, excuse me. You guys have to take over.
Yeah, so I totally agree that we need someone who can take us, you know, like from beginner level to the intermediate level. Because I think that even at beginner level, there is so much of like, we take so much of help in with English. But when we're at the intermediate level, people assume that we will be knowing, we'll be good at Korean, you know. So we will understand, you know, even the basic words. But it's not like that, you know. And even when I was preparing this translation for the Korean speech contest script, we already had the script in Korean. and I was translating it in English because I didn't know anything, you know.
네.
Like, even though I'm a beginner level or maybe intermediate, I still don't know these words because they are so difficult. I mean, even
They're very
Koreans
formal
won't.
words.
Yeah, I mean, it's formal language, you know. Like even Koreans won't be able to uh, understand that much, I think. So I think that for me, like I was trying to understand the Korean and English as well. Like I was translating side by side, and it was still very difficult. You know, like there was some, like there was the announcement at the end. I was like, I was confirming it. You know, like from the Korean person, that is this the right translation or no? Because even Papago didn't work at that time. You know. So
네.
it was very loose translation. So yeah, we need that support, you know, especially at this level
Well, I
when you're
think
not
that
sure.
when I look at other languages that maybe I've learned in a classroom,
Mhm.
what is beginner and what is considered intermediate is
Mhm.
not the same in Korean. What is really what is considered intermediate in Korean is what I would consider absolutely completely fluent.
Yeah.
So there's really a very much larger jump that you have to.
Mhm. Yeah.
I'm not a beginner. I can read Hangul, okay? But like, I mean, I'm not really fluent either. So yeah, there's a big gap in between those two,
Yeah.
intermediate and
Okay.
beginner.
Uh-huh.
너무
The
어려워요.
gap is being neglected, and that's what we want to cover.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
gap.
Mhm.
So
Yeah,
we want to speak in Korean. We'll be speaking in Korean as much as we can. Right now, my challenge is 5 minutes a day. 5분만
네.
한국어로 하고 싶어요.
네.
Mhm.
하지만 5분 동안 말하는 거 너무 어려워요. 아직
네,
안 돼요.
진짜요.
아직 할 수 없어요. 아직 알 수 없어요.
Uh-huh.
그래서 천천히 말해요. 계속
네.
매일 하고 있어요.
네.
네.
많이 실수해요.
괜찮아요. 괜찮아요. 실수 괜찮아요.
네. 그리고 친구들이랑 연습 많아요. 네. 한국인 한국인도 도와줘요. 저를 도와줘요.
네.
Especially, you know, at our in our community, we have Korean speakers who are really understanding. You know, it's not like they would judge you for making mistakes, because you know, even today in our advanced class, there were some beginner level students, and I think that our teachers are much, like, very much patient with us. So even if we, you know, just stay in the class and listen, you know, even listening is a good practice. So you're passively learning, but it is really helpful, I think. So, and our teachers are really, I mean, they're okay with that, you know. Like you don't
네.
have to respond in the class, you can just stay. So that's what I like about our sessions, you know.
네.
Because we don't live in that environment, you know, where we are surrounded by Koreans, right? So we have no means to just listen, because there are YouTube videos, but it gets boring, you know, like to listen to 1 hour videos or 2 hour videos. I mean, we don't even relate to that. It's like either grammar, or they are saying something like chia chor and all that. I don't know, like at the subway station or something. So these kind of things we
여기에
cannot
없어요.
relate to, you know. So we need something that we can really, how do you say, like we can be able to use that, you know, later on. So even if we don't know the meaning yet, but still later on we can use that in conversation. Like that's how we learn, you know, like the small expressions that we are speaking right now, we heard them from our teachers, right? So yeah, I think it's really helpful.
I agree. High local also bridges that gap, because at high local you can view as many rooms, as many tables, as many conversation groups as you can. And then by listening, it increases your comprehension. And then you can also listen while you do chores around the house or something like that. You can have it as almost like a free, as a 24/7 podcast, and just listen. And it's like being immersed in the community. The only thing is there are very few Koreans between the hours of midnight Korea time and 6 a.m. Korea time. There are about
Right.
5 of us who are what are we called? What are we? Foreign Korean trainers. So there are about 5 of us that teach at that time period, and we try to not overlap each other so we could go to each other's sessions. But that's when the Americas is awake, Europe is awake, and Africa is awake. But everybody who is a native speaker is usually, well, not everybody, a lot of the native speakers of Korean are in Korea, so they're asleep. But there are some that live in New York City, live in UK. They open tables too, and that is super, super helpful to those of us here in the parts of the world that are not immersed in Korean. So it would be nice to actually have someone be on between the hours of midnight and 6. But it's also the time that the server does their updates. So there are the most glitches at that time period. Sometimes I'm not able to upload my pictures or my comments. So I'll be typing and talking and I'll send it. And the students are like, what happened? I said, I typed it in the chat box and it won't pop up until 5 minutes later. And by then, the concept has already passed. So what do I need to do? I might have to have slides that are readily available to share. But the thing is, I don't know what's going to happen during class. Like I go by the feel of the class and what the students need at the time. So say, for example, they ask a question, how do you pronounce this? How am I supposed to anticipate?
Right. It's more like tutoring. Yeah. Very tailored tutoring. Yeah. That's, I don't know. But the fact that you're keeping going, that's important.
Yeah.
Just whatever the interruptions and the distractions and the challenges that happen, the most important, and this is real life. We're like real life people here. We're not like fictional. And so, if you can keep going, there's always going to be something to stop you. But if you can keep going despite it, then eventually you will learn.
Yeah, exactly. Fighting, 여러분.
Fighting. Hey.
And so, oh my goodness, it's just been an exciting week. That's all I can say about that. We starting from the weekend when we did the contest, and everybody had a beautiful presentation. That was really, really amazing. It was one of the smoothest things we've done, huh, Sanchita? Like it just kept on falling into place.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my god, does this mean like we have enough experience that we're able to like smoothly go through the whole thing? But you know who gets the credit though? Kunyang University and Kika prepared the script for us.
Yeah.
So we already knew we had a timeline, we had an outline. So all of that
It was very well organized.
So organized.
Yeah, so Koreans are really good at that, I think.
Yeah.
Every time when we have meeting with Koreans, they first ask us, what is the agenda?
Yes. And we're learning from that too, right? Like you and I are learning and developing ourselves as entrepreneurs, as like community builders, like by doing all of these meetings. And I'm so grateful for Isa Jang Nim and Kevin Park Sensing Nim, for introducing us to these wonderful organizations, because GLEx wouldn't be what it is without the help of the Korean people. What is going on? Help of the Korean people who have guided us through this process. And Isa Jang Nim Kika has been in business for what, 25 years, 30 years?
Yeah.
So they know exactly what it means to be a part of the Korean Ministry of Foreign Affairs, right? So they've been under that umbrella. And one of our dreams, Sanchita and I, when we first started GLEx, remember, was to be a part of, to be associated with a Korean entity, like Korean nonprofit, and because allowing us to make this dream come true. And then partnering with Konyang University for this contest was another one of those dreams. And it's like, what is the next dream, Sanchita? I think we've accomplished everything on the list so far. Money is the only thing left.
Yeah, I mean, taking this through is really important because for this contest, I think that it was like a full circle, like even the participants will get the prizes from Korean University. So we had like the entire process was complete, but with the study fairs, I think we're still, we just conducted the sessions, but after that, nothing happened. So we need to make a system for everything that we do.
Yes.
So now for the Korean contest, we do have the system in place. So from next year, it will be much more easier. But for the other things, like for study fairs and all that, and we also want to create content, right? So we'll be taking a break from the study sessions, and
Yes.
we will concentrate on the material that we have already. I mean, we have been doing this for 1 year now, right? We have all the content, but it's not published yet. So
Yes.
we need to streamline it. That will be our next goal, right?
Yes, definitely. Yes, we want to be able to share with you the content that we have gathered in the past year, the knowledge that we have amassed, the knowledge that we have acquired in the past year. We learned so much about ourselves, about language learning, about language acquisition, about others' learning experiences. And we would like to invite you to continue to join us on podcast because we would like to interview those of you who joined us for an entire year. What was your journey like? How has GLEx 2020 helped you? What was being part of this community like? And I sent that message in the chat box. If you guys could make a video telling us your experience before or on during the Christmas party. It will be our second Christmas together. We spent the whole day on Zoom with each other. People came in and went because depending on the time, we basically spent that day together reminiscing about the past year and how we've grown and being grateful for each other. So I would like to have another Christmas party like that. We'll have games, norebang, presentations. So just to show you our gratitude for being with us another Christmas.
Yes.
And then hopefully you can tell the difference between last year's greetings and this year's greetings, and you can say, wow, they really worked hard all year. Because if every day you look in the mirror, you'll see no change. But if you look at the first picture you had and the last picture you have, you'll see the big difference. But every day looking in the mirror and seeing, oh, how much have I grown today? You won't see it at all. But looking at the whole year, the big picture, you'll see how much you've grown. So thank you for joining us this whole year, another year, another Christmas. This whole year, thank you for joining us here at GLEx 2020. Really appreciate having you guys and free talking with us. Oops, 죄송해요. Screenshot 주세요. 했어요? So that concludes our broadcast for today. 와주셔서 감사합니다.
네,
Thanks for coming.
감사합니다. 다음 주 또
hamster
커요.
Hamster's not here, but he's almost here. I mean, he's here almost every week. Yeah. Christopher, I hope you're doing okay. Send us your picture so we can add you here in Indiana somewhere. And we'll see you next week. This is not the updated map. This is the old map. The first map was the updated map. But thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. 신청해 주셔서 감사합니다. 그리고
감사합니다.
다음 주 만나요?
네.
Again
다음
next week.
주.
네. 감사합니다. What are we going to
안녕히
talk about
계세요.
next week? Let me know.
네.
I'll think about it. 네. 안녕히 계세요.
네, 감사합니다. 축하해요, 여러분. 건양대학교 contest winners 축하해요. 기가 감사합니다.
감사합니다.
Bye bye.
Bye.